that more proper? Cheers, kids. Welcome to the 99th episode of the Late Night Picture Show. When I started writing this garbage back in 2006 for my defunct website, just for y'all to read, I never would have imagined that I would be here on the YouTube covering my 99th movie. But here we are with part 2 of our brain double feature. And if I had a brain, maybe I'd be rich by now. Or maybe not. This is chock full of thrills, for one thing. Right here. Creature with the Atom Brain. Oh, I got an itch here. Let's try not to get makeup on my glove. Terror True to Science. Really? I think I also saw this on Sci-Fi Friday. Terror True to Science, based on laboratory experiments described in national magazines. I don't think these magazines were Scientific American. Maybe they were. I've heard they've taken a turn toward the... A dead man stalks his prey. Here is horror that can happen now to you. You better watch out, 'cause this could happen to you. Keep that in mind throughout my review, okay? It could happen to you. You won't believe your eyes. Creature with the Atom Brain, starring Richard Denning and Angela Stevens. Whoever they are. That went a total different direction than they usually end up over here. I made just what I said I was going to make, and it is delicious, even with the $17 scotch. Creature with the Atom Brain, 1955, Columbia Pictures. Okay, not only are we a couple of years later from our last picture, but this is a major studio. Actual Columbia Pictures. Directed by Edward L. Kahn. And I didn't write any stars here because there were no stars. Fight me. Okay. After a rogue nightclub owner and the city DA are found murdered in a similar fashion with radioactive fingerprints. Where's my magic marker? Radioactive fingerprints at both crime scenes. A crime lab doctor. Where'd I get that from? A medical examiner. Maybe they didn't use that term back then. Anyway, he sets out to solve the strange crimes. He soon discovers that both of the men who belong to the fingerprints are dead. And if that don't beat all, 8 bodies in total are missing from the morgue. We, of course, being in the know and being the audience, know that a bitter ex-con is behind the whole mess. He has financed a scientist's experiments in trade for revenge in the form of... Hold on, I need a drink for this. In the form of superhuman zombies. That's how I'm going to get my revenge. I missed that big clown money. I'm coming after you with my superhuman zombies. When another body is found with more radioactive fingerprints, the cops enlist the military to sweep the area with radium finders. Is that a real thing? If you're actually scientific, let me know. I don't know what the... I know what a Geiger detector is, but... Did they call them radium finders in 1955? Anyway, they must pinpoint the exact source that the zombies feed on. The plot emerges, and the remaining 2 men, who may be the next victims, are taken into protective custody. We know who he's after. We probably know who he is. And we've got to protect these 2 men. No matter. The scientist's next step is to kill the crime lab boss. Pardon me. I'm having indigestion. Only a detective friend is driving his car that night. Okay, you're the crime lab boss. You let your detective friend drive your car home when you're the target, the next target of the killer. Oops. Well, he meets his untimely end. With a police detective under their control, that's right, the detective met his untimely end. Let's see if I can even follow along here. The detective met his untimely end, and now he's under control of the scientist and the ex-con bent on revenge. With the police detective under their control, they easily dispatch the last 2 men. The crime lab boss, who is still alive, spots his buddy and follows him back to the roost. Where? What are we going to have? It's a zombie battle. I know this sounds ridiculous. Okay. It's not as bad as you think. This is your typical 50s radioactive movie. Fits right in with Invisible Invaders and Tarantula. Kind of. Yeah, it fits right in. It's in the same scientific ilk. Wrought with pseudoscientific jargon, wholesome family values, and humor. That's right. It's also funny AF, as the kids say nowadays. As funny as any of them I wrote. It's a three-ring circus here on the Late Night Picture Show. Feature 2 of our brain double feature. At least this time the brain didn't end up in a fish tank, right? Oh, I found out. I looked on the Wikipedia. Nancy Davis and Ronald Reagan were married in 1952, a year before Donovan's Brain came out. Cheers. Their evil empire had already begun. She was still just using the last name Davis. Oh, I'm shaking the camera here. Okay. I'm not going to get in the bucket tonight because I'm going to take a week or two off. And I'm going to try and come up with something special for our 100th episode. I don't know if we'll do 100 and 101 or if we'll just do 100. Depends on what I come up with. Maybe I'll get Charlie down here so that we can finally do Valley of the Dragons. Or maybe I'll go completely off the rails. Maybe I'll ask one of my friends to co-host. But either way, I'm going to try to do something special for episode 100. And I'll have you know, I've got 430 some odd movies on my list, so we're almost a quarter of the way there. All right. Join us in a week or two. For what? I don't know. But I'm going to try to make it special. I promise you. Thanks for tuning into the Late Night Picture Show with me, Murph the Clown. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a thumbs down. Leave some comments. I'll see you in a little while, kids. Good night.